Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bullring today, presented by our friends at HMS Motorsport. I'm Alan Dietz, along with America's short track sweetheart, Jess Ballard. And boy, have we got another great show for everybody today.
Yeah, I mean, we really kicked the year off strong last week, but this week is just as exciting.
Yeah, it's good. We've got Robert Yoho from Showtime Speedway joining us about Florida Winterfest this weekend, which you'll be able to see here on Racing America. Tommy O'Sullivan, the winner of the New Year's Bash at Dillon Motorspeedway. Daniel Webster, who won the SRL Sportsman race at Freedom Factory. Keely Dubinsky, she's going to join us about the Big Cars Tour announcement this week, and we'll hear from Zach Evans.
Great.
Yes.
Is that going to be a weekly thing?
I don't know. But obviously,
well, we're on a streak so far.
Yeah, obviously, we also had the announcement this week that Matt Weaver's going back to do some freelance stuff, and I'm sure we'll have him on, and we'll get Zach on a little bit more, and it'll be good.
Sweet.
For the first time this year, now, what do we do?
Oh, we
go to the
highlights.
Let's take a look at the highlights for this past weekend at Dillon Motorspeedway. Our coverage of the New Year's Bash on Saturday. The Challengers were in action. Greg Peterson took the win there. Also then on Sunday, the Carolina Mini Stock Challenge race, Robert Strimskill was the winner. And Tommy O'Sullivan, the winner of a very, very, very wild street stock race, because the first New Englander to win. And, man, there was some bad wrecks on Sunday.
That was crazy. I mean, that's always kind of a crazy race, but this is, I mean, that was
crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we saw Ant Kohler's accident, and there were several others. And luckily, everybody was able to walk away okay. And the other thing, we got the Cars Tour announcement this week. Dale Jr. posted something on Facebook earlier this week, and here's what he had to say.
Hey, everybody. Hopefully now you've heard the news about the Cars Tour and the new investment group that I'm a part of with Kevin Harvick, Justin Marks, and Jeff Burton. Really excited to be able to get this news out. Proud to have been a part of the Cars Tour for about a decade or more now, and excited to work with Jack, the owner of the series, going forward. For all the racers, team owners, fans of the Cars Tour, it's going to continue with the same identity. Jack is still going to be involved, managing the day-to-day. We're really excited just to be a part of it and make sure that it's shepherded into the future and taken care of and continues to succeed and strive and grow. So just, following our passion and excited about this investment group. We all have different strengths that I think will help us find more and more success and more growth for the series and the teams and the drivers, and continue building on something that Jack has done an incredible job with. So thank you all for supporting the Cars Tour and late model stock cars, and can't wait to see you at the racetrack sometime this year.
And Jess, not necessarily a surprise to us, and I think some other folks expected it to happen, but a big deal nonetheless. I didn't know Jeff Burton and Justin Marks were going to be a part of it.
I had no idea either. Maybe I was just out of the loop, but I think some people saw this coming with Dale being so involved, especially in the last year with the North Wilkesboro race. But listen, I'm a huge fan of Justin Marks and all of the new, fresh ideas he brings to the Cup Series. So I was really excited to see that. I think overall, this is going to be a win for short track racing for sure.
Well, hopefully when we talk to Keely Dubinsky, we'll she'll be able to give us a little bit of an idea of where things are headed, because I know people have a lot of questions. That's enough of that. When we come back, we're going to talk to Robert Yoho of Showtime Speedway as they get ready for the big Florida's Winterfest this weekend.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety and the exclusive importer for Schroth belts and Schubert helmets. When risk is around every corner, let our experts help you select the best harness belts, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. Don't make safety an afterthought. We have 25 years of experience of educating our customers on all aspects of driver safety and providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sport cars. Visit our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts, or check us out online at hmsmotorsport.com to learn the details of our products and, of course, order online.
PFC Brakes has more championships than any other, and now they're on every champion's car as the official brake provider for the Camping World SRX Series. Remember, PFC Brakes. The secret is it's quicker.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Hey, I'm Dillon Hart Jr. You're watching Racing America.
Well, our first guest this evening here on the Bullring, presented by HMS Motorsport, is Robert Yoho of Florida Showtime Speedway, side of Winterfest coming up this weekend. First off, Robert, I appreciate you joining us today.
Okay, I appreciate you having me on.
Well, tell me, I think we were down there at Showtime a couple of years ago for the first Winterfest, and I love the racetrack. I love the event. How excited are you and the fans down there for this year's race?
Well, we're really excited. You know, we got another late model race on top of us. One of the tracks wanted to start his season earlier to try to grab the cars out, so he started in January and started his points, which, you know, strategically it's a kind of a good move, but kind of a bad move because people like to have the Christmas and starting right up before they can rebuild their cars and get them ready. It's kind of tough for the locals. But, you know, I was told I have Bubba Pollard, Nassie, and some of the other big dogs. I know Detilly, and, you know, we put that $20,000 challenge up to go to the rear and to the front. But the killer on that part of it is we got to have 25 cars. So I got my car. I hired Bradley Bowman to drive for me. So I think we're at about 16, 17 cars at the moment. But I really don't know who's coming, whether Garcia or any other big dogs are coming. But I'm super stoked because we'll be doing this every year.
I think that drivers, even though the Snowball Derby's in December, I think after the holidays, drivers get antsy, yeah. And they want to start the race season, and that's awesome with the weather being nicer down in Florida that you're able to do that. And we were talking earlier about how cool the Back to the Front challenge you're adding is going to be. Can you tell us the details on that?
Well, what we do is we're going to qualify everybody on Friday night, and we'll let the fast guy have the choice to whether he wants to start on the pole or start wherever he pulls, or go to the rear. And if he wins, he gets $20,000. If he turns it down, we go to second place qualifier, third place, or fourth place qualifier. And then, you know, on Saturday, Friday night, we qualify lock in first and second. And then on Saturday afternoon, we call it our bump qualifying. We got 30 minutes for the people who didn't show up Friday night, get to qualify first. then anybody else wants to come out and bump their position, they can move up as high as number 3.
Well, I think that's great because I think it gives people the opportunity to go on Saturday that maybe can't get away from work and still have an opportunity to qualify good. And I love what you're doing with the bonus too, that if the first or second place guy doesn't want it, then third or fourth can get it.
Correct.
Now, I know another big race you've got coming up that you've been very excited about coming up at the end of February, the Dave Steele Memorial. It's a great event for a great guy. And you were telling me about a week or so ago that the sprint cars are really showing a lot of support, at least from what you're hearing here early on.
Yeah, you know, you can go to Pavement Pounders. Dave Sink is really astronomical in helping us. And I think we're at 17 or 18 cars already. And we got the $20,000 challenge on that too. But we got to get the guys to come from up north because we don't have that many sprint cars down here that run the non-wing. Maybe next year I can make that series they're running in Carolina make this the first race for it, the David Steele race, and drag him in there a little more in depth. But I'm really excited. I'll be driving the David Steele number 33. I come in second in the championship this year. I lost by, I think, 2 points to the lead on the last night. I lost it in the heat race, but that's okay. But I'm really excited about it, and we would like to pay a little more money. I think we're paying $5,000 to win, $20,000 bonus. We're trying to get the win up to $7,500. We're looking for some sponsors because, as you know, if you go to all these other tracks, you see all these big names. All you see at Showtime is Showtime. I put the money up, I pay it, I deal with it. And as far as track sponsors, we have a few. But as far as the big races, the big 10,000, 15, and all that stuff, it comes out of Showtime's pocket. We don't have anybody that steps up and pays. We do get a little royalty from Racing America this year for our late model race, and I appreciate that. And without the help of fans, it's hard to put these big races on.
Well, I think you're going to have plenty of fans there, super late model drivers. You need to get out there, and sprint car drivers, you've got plenty of time for that race in February. Robert, I know you're busy. I appreciate you joining us today, and I appreciate you letting us be a part of it.
And I appreciate you calling me and asking to be a part of it. Without all the racers, we wouldn't have a track. So thank you.
All right. That's Robert Yoho with Showtime Speedway. We'll be watching this weekend Florida's Winterfest. When we come back, we had the New Year's Bash on this past week. Tommy O'Sullivan, he's going to join us.
What creates a winning combination? Quality, focus, discipline, and most importantly, speed. At Pepperjack Kennels, we provide exceptional water and land training services for hardworking retrievers. From leading in the field to leading on the track, together we establish winning dogs and a winning team. Devoted to retrievers and motorsports, we are Pepperjack Kennels. Visit us online to learn more.
5-Star Bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market. Aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials. Tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-Star.
Speedfest returns to Chris Motorsports Park in Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th. See the super late models, pro late models, outlaws, legends, and bandoleros. Speedfest has practice and qualifying Friday, while all of the feature action is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out TrackEnterprises.com and ChrisMotorsportsPark.com. It's Speedfest 2023 at Watermelon Capital Speedway, Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th.
Yeah, so I was, I guess, 13 or so when I started racing late model cars, full-size cars, and didn't really start traveling a ton until I was 14, 15, those couple years, especially that year I was 14, I remember we traveled a lot, did a lot of racing, and got to see a bunch of different tracks and facilities, types of tracks, different competitors. It was good. Learned a ton throughout those few years.
Well, Jess, of course, I know you watched the New Year's Bash at Dillon Motorspeedway on Saturday or Sunday, both days actually.
Yes.
And it was a bash.
It was a bash.
Was probably about 6 cars that didn't get bashed. And that doesn't include the winner who's joining us now, Tommy O'Sullivan. His car got beat and banged a little bit. First New Englander to take the win in the New Year's Bash. Congratulations.
Thank you. Feels pretty good to be able to come down there and compete with some of the best across the country. And to come out on top was pretty gratifying.
Well, first off, before we talk about the race, I know you've got a lot of experience at Thompson, and it looked like to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it looked like to me that at some point in the B main, something clicked. And it was like, I figured this place out. And from then on, it seemed like the car was constantly going forward.
Yeah. I mean, we made some adjustments before time trials to try to get a little bit more speed because we knew we were a top 5 car, and it didn't work. We made an adjustment, and it really made us go backwards. So we put it back to how we were Friday and Saturday morning, and I knew as soon as we fired off in the B main that we were going to be good. And then, like you said, probably a couple laps into it, I started to change what I was doing. And my spotter was, making me back the entry up quite a bit. And a little bit of familiarity with the way 1 and 2 is. I kind of compare it to like Lee Speedway in New Hampshire. 3 and 4, I still don't feel like I was getting through there great.
Don't worry, but, nobody does.
So, like I said, and then we started to figure it out. And then from there, one more adjustment for the feature, and the car really took off.
Well, you know how us racers think a win is a win, but to survive your B main, win the B main, and then have to a spin on lap 45, I think.
Yeah, well, he spun twice, I think, and then dodged every other thing that happened out there.
I mean, that has to make that that type of excitement, I feel like, always makes a win feel like that much better. Do you agree?
Oh, for sure. I mean, little does anybody know that we actually bent the toe in an inch on one of those wrecks where we just squeezed by, and I caught the turn 4 or turn 3 wall and knocked the toe in. So we came in under one of those cautions, and we had plenty of time to fix it, and they put it back. And then after the race, we discovered that the upper A-arm, the ball joint, and the shock were bent. So they got it right, and it was really, really good at the end. We were probably the quickest car at the end, according to the stopwatch.
Now, as good as the car was, and you get spun a few times, and you knew that last restart was going to be wild. How do you feel like you controlled your emotions after those spins? Because I would think that you've almost got to.
I was pretty fired up. My reputation for being calm isn't always the greatest. So after I got spun by the 48, I was pretty irritated, and my spotter, Brad Bennett, did a tremendous job to keep me in check, to know that there was still probably 70 or 65 laps left, to just put it away and forget about it. And then the second spin, that was kind of just on me. I was racing the 25, and I got in there, and then on the exit, it started to shove. So I didn't want to get into him, and I just I did and dumped myself instead of taking him with me. So
last week we talked a lot about how this event is just continues to grow. It's a huge event. So many people come out for it.
There were 60 cars. I could not believe it.
I mean, yeah, it's just incredible car counts. So as a driver, what brings you to this race, and what do you think is the reason why this event is so successful year after year?
Well, it keeps gaining traction. I mean, we go down to the Snowball Derby every year because we are super late model guys from younger days. My brother races super late model his whole life. So to go down and see that event and know that what goes into it, this is kind of like that, but on a lower level as far as the street stocks goes. And, the talent that comes from around the country is pretty steep. So I think it grows because of the excitement, and every year there's just a couple more cars, and you guys do such a good job with the broadcast, so everybody gets to see it. The Barfields put a tremendous effort into making this a huge event. So it's the biggest street stock race in the country, and then it continues to grow in popularity because of the coverage.
How much more racing are you going to get to do this year?
We'll probably do what we did last year. I like to try to go to North Wilkesboro, but normally we just run around here for the money races. We got 4 or 5 at Monadnock that are pretty decent paying races, and there's one at White Mountain for 10 grand or 5 grand. I'm sorry. And throughout New England here, they've kind of combined the rules and made them a common rule, so you can go to probably 6 to 7 tracks and compete with our rules package. So that's basically what we'll do.
Well, great job Sunday, Tommy. It was great to get to see you out there and race and to get to have the luck finally go your way there at the end. Congratulations, and we'll keep an eye on you the rest of the year.
Hey, I appreciate it, and keep up the great coverage. It was pretty exciting to have Racing America there on our stage with the street stocks to be able to have us promoted a little bit and get our names out there across the country, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk to Daniel Webster about his big win this past weekend at Freedom Factory.
Speedfest returns to Chris Motorsports Park in Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th. See the super late models, pro late models, outlaws, legends, and bandoleros. Speedfest has practice and qualifying Friday, while all of the feature action is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out trackenterprises.com and chrismotorsportspark.com. It's Speedfest 2023 at Watermelon Capital Speedway, Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
It's race time on Short Track America. Dirt or pavement, from east to west. Short Track America features some of the biggest grassroots races around the country. Super late models to street stock racing. If it's on a half-mile or smaller track, it's on Short Track America. On MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
I'm Gabe Summers, and you're watching Racing America.
Welcome back to the Bullring presented by HMS Motorsport. Alan and Jess here with you this afternoon, and we talked about, how busy racing is already right now. We failed to mention the Red Eye at New Smyrna. They were racing. But we did mention Freedom Factory and the SRL Sportsman Series there in action. Joining us now, the winner of Freedom Factory's event. That's Daniel Webster. And Daniel, first off, thanks for joining us.
Hey man, thank you guys for having me.
Well, tell me, we have been fortunate here on Racing America to have been a part of some racetrack revivals, and I know Freedom Factory has been very active over the last number of years, but the circle track hasn't. And boy, did the competitors and the fans show Cletus and Ricky Brooks and everybody just how much they loved that racetrack.
Yeah, I don't think you could have asked for a better first night back than that. Just totally packed out. There's over 110 cars for 3 divisions, 45 cars in the Sportsman Series. Like, Ricky did an awesome job organizing it, promoting it, and like if you go back and watch Cletus's video, he even makes a comment in his video that's like, I didn't promote this any. I wanted to sit back and see how it went. And they, when we were in staging to get in the cars for the feature, they said there was still almost a 2-mile backup out on the highway of getting people into the grandstands, which that's awesome to see for a track that we haven't been to in years. Like I don't really follow like their style of content normally. I guess now I have to check it out more, but yeah, it went smooth. Like start to finish, all the races were smooth. All the like parking, the lighting's fantastic. How much he's fixed up the facility's beautiful. Like it was really well done.
That is a beautiful trophy in the background. Congratulations. So
yeah, they killed it with that. I mean, to bring the first SRL trophy home too is that's pretty special.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for drivers or fans who haven't watched a race or haven't been to the track in person, can you describe the track and what it feels like?
Yeah, it's a 3/8 mile, decent banking, and it is for all of your local fans. It's about as rough as Hickory is. Like it is.
Wow.
It's wore out. It's very patchy.
Sounds great.
If you pull up, it's awesome. Like so, because we actually had a red flag for a chunk of the racetrack came up and actually flattened the left front tire on one of the cars that I crew chief and maintain on. We ended up getting the spot back, but we had a red flag for track repair. I mean, it's wore out, but they patched it. Like they said, it was like 14 minutes. They had the track patched, and we were back moving under yellow and back racing. It was impressive. Like, but it's so much character to it. Like they made a comment about possibly repaving it, and we're all in the driver's meeting like, no, they keep patching it. We'll drive around, drive through the bumps and everything. It was a blast, and like even in the sportsman cars, like I mean, I'm primarily a super driver, but that place, there's a real sensation of speed to it. Like even as wore out as it is, you're up on the wheel, like it's trying to rip the wheel out of your hand over if you hit the bumps in the wrong spot or whatever. It was awesome. Like we told them, don't change a thing, keep patching, just make sure the patches are down good before we get back. And it puts on an awesome show.
Well, you mentioned a super late model. How different are these SRL sportsman cars? And what have you seen being down there in Florida that has allowed this division to constantly grow for the last 5 years or so?
Yeah, the this class has been around for a long time, but primarily it's always been like a Central Florida class. So difference-wise, they're on a 602 crate motor. The whole class have to be on a 602. They're on a spec Bilstein shock. They're big spring. They're conventional spring cars. No coilover allowed. The front clips, they're full tubular chassis now, but the front clip is based off of Camaro geometry. There's rules and measurements on that type of stuff. They do run racks. We are quick changes, stuff like that. And the same body rules as like the Outlaw class at Pensacola you see at the Derby. So they look cool. We're on an 8-inch slick, so they're kind of hard to drive after a while but they have enough downforce that lap time wise they're not that far off of a super, even with the big horsepower difference because they carry a lot of corner speed. So you're one of those. It's like kind of like a pro car where you're up on the wheel constantly trying to hustle it because you have to keep it wound up with that little 602 motor. Class wise, like Steve Dorr really took this class to the next level when he just created the Wheelman series. It was the first incarnation 5 or 6 years ago. Like he saw an opportunity where the rules were a little bit different at each track and they're all segmented out. He came up with the idea for the series, and he was, brought out the really cool, unique trophy that Ricky kept alive and put his own spin on. But Steve got it going, and that series, it did really well car count wise. It was always professionally run. They were very, very strict on rules. They were strict on, they tore motors down. With the spec shocks, they'll take your shocks and give you, replacements, to keep that in check. They've done a good job of just policing it, making it pretty professional, for which I feel like is kind of rare in a non-late model division to keep up with it that tight. And once Ricky came in, one of the biggest thing he's brought in is obviously his name. Everyone knows Ricky Brooks. He knows he's buying blah, blah, blah. But he's also really helped out the purse money quite a bit too, because these races have become so competitive. It's not really much cheaper than going to a super late model show anymore, because you have, teams bringing in paid crew chiefs. Like, that's my day job. Like, I have 2 or 3 sportsmen that live here that I maintain and bring to the track and test and driver coach on, that I had to, this past weekend, put people in my place so I could race against my customers. Doesn't always go smooth, but it was really late. It was awesome. The last restart lining up next to my full-time car customer, guy that Tim Sozio, that I've helped train, driver coach and everything. We were side by side for the lead with 3 to go. It was pretty cool. But they just Ricky really helped the prize money out. Ended up taking home $3,500 to win a race that 2 years ago would have paid $1,000 or $1,200. So that's helped keep the class moving forward, because a couple of years ago, late model people were looking at getting one of these cars. Like, Jeff Schofield now has 3 of them, and with different drivers in them and stuff like that. But it was like, wow, they're not that much cheaper than late model if it only is going to pay $1,000 to win. But Ricky's really helped bring in more sponsors, more spotlight on the series, and get the prize money up to match the competitive levels. Now, I'd say these cars, like, effort and professionality wise, are on par with where supers were 6 or 7 years ago. They're keeping up. There's no bump stops allowed, so you don't have to worry about bringing your shock machine with you and all that stuff. But there's still, the class is so tight that you have to be on your game every time you show up, because they're so competitive, and you're in a box with like the different spec rules and stuff, where you have to really try to find little areas to be creative, because they cracked down, because they wanted it to where someone could bring out a $12,000 or $14,000 car and be able to compete with the $50,000, $60,000 cars. And you see Saturday night, like, they accomplished that. It's the B main rolling off, had the defending series champion in it, the last super late model champion next to him from that racetrack. There's last year 2 previous winners starting right behind them in a B main. It was awesome to see.
Yeah,
the field was that stacked.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great, and I'm glad that everybody got out and supported it first off, and I don't think I know there's going to be another race at Freedom Factory in February, but I don't think that'll be the last one on the circle track. Daniel, congratulations. Good luck on the season with your cars and in your racing endeavors, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
All right, that's Daniel Webster, the winner at Freedom Factory Saturday night. When we come back, we're going to talk to Keely Dubinsky about all the changes in the Cars Tour.
Hooters and racing go together like killer wings and ice-cold beer. Racing has been at the core of Hooters' DNA from the beginning. Whether it's backing the best drivers or serving up the best food on race day, race fans know Hooters is the real deal. Big screens, great food, good times. Hooters, the official home of race fans.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Welcome to the new home for race fans, Racing America. Live short track racing. Exclusive team content.
I bet, that's what they all say. Any NASCAR fan is really a short track fan at heart.
Behind the scenes access. From grassroots to NASCAR, join us at the home for race fans everywhere. Racing America, it's in our DNA.
Rhino Classifieds is an online classifieds platform built for racers and race fans. Rhino makes finding parts, trailers, and specialty vehicles easy. Posting is free. Signing up is free. That's a lot of free. So jump in and join the most streamlined motorsports-focused classifieds out there at rhino.co. That's RYNO.co.
Well, the big news this week finally out that the Cars Tour has been acquired by a new group, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, Justin Marks, and Jeff Burton, which I think is great, but it also leaves a lot of questions. So to join us now from the Cars Tour is Keely Dubinsky, and I guess the first question, Keely, is you are still with the Cars Tour, correct?
Yes, I am still the director of operations for the tour.
Well, I think a lot of people, we're going to say, what if anything is going to change? I mean, do you think when you get to Southern National in March that it's going to look different, or is a lot of the things that are going to change not necessarily on the racetrack?
No, I don't think it'll look much different, especially right away, because the new owners are trying to get familiar with how the series operates and what works and what doesn't. So I think at least for this first year, we're going to try to keep everything the same. And, if we find an issue that we want to correct, we will.
Keely, I first want to say congratulations. This is a big deal for you and Jack. And
it's great because you didn't text her this week when the news came out.
I know. I was like, well, I'll talk to her on the Bullring because
I
figured,
thought, what did I do to her?
I figured everyone in the racing community is blowing your phone up because that's just how big this news was.
Yeah.
I think some people saw it coming with Dale Jr. and maybe Kevin Harvick, but I certainly did not see Justin Marks being involved or Jeff Burton.
Yeah, I was the same way.
So I know this is very exciting for everyone, but it's probably a little bittersweet too. And I just want to let you know that I guess I'm speaking for myself, was very excited to see that you are still going to be involved. You're just going to keep your role there. And I'm so excited. We say in racing that, what do they say? All rising tide,
floats all ships or something.
Yeah. Okay, you guys get what I'm saying. Okay, so this is great news, but things are going to change. So, what can you just tell us how you're feeling and what your thoughts are? Anything and a statement that you want to make?
Well, first, thank you. Yeah, it has been crazy. Obviously, it is bittersweet because this has been like me and Jack's baby.
It's your whole life.
This is my entire life.
Let's keep going. We're going to make her cry. Come on.
I already thought about that.
Like Barbara Walters.
This is like my entire heart and soul is into this series, and so is Jack's. And so, for us to be able to now have this new ownership group, helping us out and allowing us to use more resources, this is huge. And now we're going to be able to operate this series on a level that it's never even seen before. Because in order to be involved in a series like the Cars Tour, you have to put everything that you have into it. You have to pay attention to the trends, the personalities of the drivers. There's just so much that goes into it. And so I think that having this group is just going to be really special because they're already it seems like they're already invested just like Jack and I are.
Well, you mentioned Jack McNally and he, took ownership at the very end of Pro Cup and then, ushered in this transition to late model stocks and super late models and now pro late models. What is his role moving forward, if any?
He's going to to remain as the vice president. And he is still going to be doing his same exact role, rounding everybody up at the racetrack and keeping everything neat.
So for the folks at home watching that maybe aren't as involved in the business side of racing, can you give us a few examples of why having individuals such as Dale and Kevin and Justin Marks and Jeff involved in a short track racing program is beneficial for the series drivers?
It is, because they're all on the same page that we are too. You have to keep that balance between being a developmental series and a place that drivers can be recognized to move up through the ranks. But then, you also have to keep those local drivers and the teams that need and want to make a living owning these cars. And I think that between the four of them, they all come from like different parts. I guess what I'm trying to say is they all bring something different to the table, which is really just gonna kind of complete us.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't go into detail, but does this change the website, the streaming, the social media? I mean, does that part of it change with this too, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, the streaming world has gotten really competitive.
Really?
So those are all, y'all know. So, I mean, we're definitely going to be looking into all of those options and things. But everybody, sorry, my dog's over.
Did I get the dog fired up?
Yes, it's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, everybody is going to be, able to have a say in how this is going to work.
Well, that's great. I know you guys have got your banquet is coming up. Is it next weekend?
It is next weekend. Yes.
Well, I know a lot of folks are going to be looking forward to that and how with everything, how it's going. I know we just had you on back in December with the short track awards and stuff, but I appreciate you doing this because, like I said, I just think a lot of folks, change is exciting, but change can be scary too. And I know there's been a lot of questions, but I can tell you from Dillon this weekend, the rumors were going around, but everything I've heard has been positive. Everything, yes, this week on social media seems to have been positive, and can't wait to see what this year looks like. I think it's going to be really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to change a lot for everybody involved in short track racing. This isn't just a win for the car store. This is a win for everybody who has a dream and, wants to get more involved in short track racing. I think this is the start of something really big for all of us.
Well, good job, Keely. Like I texted you, I don't think that this could have happened without your involvement here over the last 2 or 3 years. And I'm so glad. I think it's very smart of this group to keep some of the brain trust there. So good luck this season, and I'm sure we'll be checking in a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all for having me on and supporting us as always.
All right, that's Keely Dubinsky. I tried to make her cry. I couldn't do it there at the end, but exciting times for the Cars Tour. We come back, we're going to talk to Zach Evans.
With a can of PB Blaster in your hand, even you can work it like a pro. PB Blaster busts the toughest rust anywhere it's found. In the garage.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the yard.
Oh, that's right, you're in control. Come at me, bro.
Penetrate tough rust anywhere around the house.
Come on, get you some. That's right, baby. Woo!
PB Blaster. Don't bust your knuckles, bust your nuts.
Get some.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety and the exclusive importer for Schroth belts and Schubert helmets. When risk is around every corner, let our experts help you select the best harness belts, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. Don't make safety an afterthought. We have 25 years of experience of educating our customers on all aspects of driver safety and providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sport cars. Visit our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts, or check us out online at hmsmotorsport.com to learn the details of our products and, of course, order online.
Rhino Classifieds is an online classifieds platform built for racers and race fans. Rhino makes finding parts, trailers, and specialty vehicles easy. Posting is free. Signing up is free. That's a lot of free. So jump in and join the most streamlined motorsports-focused classifieds out there at rhino.co. That's RYNO.co.
Back here on the Bullring, Jess had to go to the little racer's room, so that's allowed us to bring Zach Evans in. And Zach, you're here, and we were just talking about it, Jess and I. Is it me, or does it seem like it gets busier every year a little bit earlier as far as tracks going racing?
I don't know how much of it is they start going earlier and how much of it is we just wish the off season were a little bit longer and we get a little bit older. Some of us more so than others.
Well, let me tell you, being older than you and having children, I'm very fine with the off season being as short as it is so I can get out of the house.
Understandable.
Yeah. This past weekend at Dillon, you were running one of our cameras. You and I talked about it this morning in the office. That was a brutal race in the sense of, I mean, some of the impacts, I mean, there were more hard impacts in that race than I'm used to seeing. Almost, usually you'll see like one or two, but there were 5 or 6 or 7, it seemed like.
Oh, it was a grinding race, and it's never you never enjoy those moments where you kind of have to catch your breath, especially when you're on camera, because you're the furthest away from everything. You're going to be the last person to get word on anything, like in a situation like we had with Aunt Kohler's incident, which fortunately everything came out all right there. But you're just kind of there and hoping you hear good news eventually, but you're on an island on camera, and definitely lots of scary moments, but lots of tore up race cars, but race cars can be replaced.
We've literally got a minute left, and I know there's no way you can do this justice. How big is the Cars Tour announcement?
It's massive. It's massive. It puts a lot of high-profile names together on a grassroots product that lots of people in our world know about, but maybe people outside our niche community maybe aren't as familiar with. It's got to get their attention. Hopefully they check that out. It gets them more interested and involved in short track racing as a whole. And, the more people we have watching short track racing, the better.
Well, North Wilkesboro definitely got some attention for cars, which I think led to a lot of what happened with this ownership change. And, we're a niche, and the auto racing niche that might not have known about this niche in auto racing now is taking notice. So I know you'll be keeping up with it, and we look forward to it.
Absolutely.
All right, when we come back, Jess and I are going to preview the weekend here on Racing America.
Welcome to the new home for race fans, Racing America. Live short track racing. exclusive team content.
I bet, that's what they all say. Any NASCAR fan is really a short track fan at heart.
Behind-the-scenes access. From grassroots to NASCAR, join us at the home for race fans everywhere. Racing America, it's in our DNA.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Speedfest returns to Chris Motorsports Park and Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th. See the super late models, pro late models, outlaws, legends, and bandoleros. Speedfest has practice and qualifying Friday, while all of the feature action is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out trackenterprises.com and chrismotorsportspark.com. It's Speedfest 2023 at Watermelon Capital Speedway, Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th.
Cirque Motorsport has been providing industry-leading cleaning and analysis for heat exchangers for over 15 years. Now that same technology is here in the U.S., tailored to your specific competitive needs for every racing market.
The only 100% certain way to know that your cooler is clean.
Go to CirqueMotorsport.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more details on how we can help you gain Cirque speed.
Glad to have racing back underway, and of course there's lots of racing right now that you can find streaming. Of course, we've got Florida's Winterfest coming up this weekend from Showtime Speedway, as we talked to Robert Yoho a little bit earlier. And I really like, $10,000 is a big purse, but the top 4 drivers, whichever one opts to do it, will get that $20,000 back to the front challenge. So if first doesn't want to do it, then the outside pole sitter gets to go. If the second guy doesn't want to go, then the third, and it goes back to fourth. And there's 4 drivers that could potentially at least have that single opportunity to take that bonus.
Yeah, that's another fun thing that we see these promoters, come up with to kind of add even more excitement to the race and to the field. And I think with it being up for grabs for up to 4, one of the 4 people, I think one of them is going to take it. And those are always really exciting races when someone's charging all the way from the back up to the front. So I think that's really cool.
Yes, and no doubt folks also know on Flow all week, it has been all week long, the Chili Bowl, and you got that Chili Bowl experience last year with Travis Braden. I've never been. What was it like for you?
It was nothing. I can't compare it to anything I had experienced up until that point in my racing career. Obviously, being on the pavement late model side, it was just totally different. It's like everything's inside. It's like an expo with all of these trailers and teams.
Yes, a trade show and a race.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the length of the event and how quickly things happen, it's just pretty much the opposite of everything that I've experienced. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of dirt in the ears and nose and mouth. And so to watch from home this year might be a little more comfortable.
It'll be cleaner, that's for sure. Well, we want you to make sure if you do have a subscription with our friends at Flow, check that out. They've got coverage of the Chili Bowl all weekend, and as we said, or all week, I should say, and of course, 4 subscribers. The rest of the races in the month of January are 4 subscribers on Racing America. So Winterfest next week at Citrus County, and then the final week in January back at Citrus County, but also Speedfest down at Watermelon Capital Speedway. Mm-hmm. Those are some big shows to be able to watch on with a subscription. So if you don't have a subscription, get one.
You're going to miss out.
That's right. Well, that gets that settled. When we come back, we'll wrap up another Bullring.
returns to Chris Motorsports Park and Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th. See the super late models, pro late models, outlaws, legends, and bandoleros. Speedfest has practice and qualifying Friday, while all of the feature action is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out trackenterprises.com and chrismotorsportspark.com. It's Speedfest 2023 at Watermelon Capital Speedway, Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
Hooters and racing go together like killer wings and ice-cold beer. Racing has been at the core of Hooters' DNA from the beginning. Whether it's backing the best drivers or serving up the best food on race day, race fans know Hooters is the real deal. Big screens, great food, good times. Hooters, the official home of race fans.
Well, we want to thank all of our guests for joining us today here on the Bullring. Robert Yoho, Tommy O'Sullivan, Daniel Webster, Keely Dubinsky, and, of course, our very own Zach Evans. As we said, Florida's Winterfest at Showtime Speedway will be here on Racing America this weekend for subscribers, so be sure to check that out. And also don't forget to check out Racing America TV, 24/7 channel on connected devices, many of your smart TV applications. Check that out, and you'll get to see a lot of free content as well. So, lots to absorb here today, and I feel like we learned a lot, and we get ready for this weekend.
I cannot believe we already have so much going on in short track racing, and it's just the second show. It's the second week of January. I guess I can believe it, but it just seems like we always joke about there's no off season, but there really is no off season.
There really is no off season. Enjoy all the racing you've got available streaming this week. As I said, we'll be back here next week. So for Jess Ballard, I'm Alan Dietz saying so long. We'll see you back on the Bullring.
Speedfest returns to Chris Motorsports Park and Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th. See the super late models, pro late models, outlaws, legends, and bandoleros. Speedfest has practice and qualifying Friday, while all of the feature action is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out trackenterprises.com and chrismotorsportspark.com. It's Speedfest 2023 at Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th.
Get up on your feet, race fans.
Can you believe it? Right now, racing, in my opinion, is as healthy as it's been in the last 15 to 20 years.
Just wanted to make that first lap.
Go!
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety and the exclusive importer for Schroth belts and Schubert helmets. When risk is around every corner, let our experts help you select the best harness belts, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. Don't make safety an afterthought. We have 25 years of experience of educating our customers on all aspects of driver safety and providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sport cars. Visit our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts, or check us out online at hmsmotorsport.com to learn the details of our products and, of course, order online.
PB Blaster busts the toughest rust anywhere it's found.
That's what I'm talking about.
Penetrate tough rust with complete control.
That's right, baby.
PB Blaster. Don't bust your knuckles, bust your nuts.
Get some.